Hey guys, what's going on? Tyrocco here. Today, I want to go over Skullcrown. The reason why I want to go over Skullcrown, I want to kind of talk about her, is because she is by far the champion that I get asked about the most on stream. Now, when I used to use Fellhound as a 5-second campaign farmer, he got asked about the most. But since Skullcrown is the, I guess, kind of the superstar in my arena team, she actually gets asked about more than my Siffy, which, I mean, I love Skullcrown. I think she's an amazing champion. That's hence the reason why we have the purple light in the background today. We're going over a Void champion, so I figured I'd set the mood for this. What I want to do is I want to go over Skullcrown, how I got her built, everything about her that you're going to need to know, where I use her, and kind of like where, if she's good, different parts of the game, and where she really shines. First off, as you can see, I am collecting red dots. So if you like this many red dots, let me know. I think I am the owner of the most red dots of any content creator. Please tell me if somebody has more, because I don't think it's even possible. We got 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 wait 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 red dots. And then look in here, we got a whole thing full of them. So red dot galore, love it. Besides that, and hopefully you're not OCD, and if you are, I apologize. Let's move on. I'm gonna jump in here and show you guys first off my Skullcrown stats. I'm gonna talk about this. So if you're somebody who wants to just get down to the meat and potatoes of things and just see how the Skullcrown is built, then just watch here. I'll show you her stats. Obviously, I appreciate it if you watch to the end of the video, but if not, if you just wanna see where she shine, or like how to make her shine, here you go. This is my stats of my Skullcrown. Now, these stats may not be like, holy crap, they're insane, or you may be looking at them like, wow, those are crazy. There's a few things to really pay attention to with Skullcrown, and this is like her stat priority for me. And honestly, just for most everybody should be doing with these stat priorities as well. She does have a debuff she can place. She does have a weaken that she can place from ability 2, but for Skullcrown, you're not really worried about her placing that debuff. Her A2 does so much damage, you really want to focus on that, just nuking down the other people. So as you can see, I have basically 0 accuracy. I have a little bit of accuracy from pieces of gear, but I definitely have not went into accuracy. What I've done is I try to get as close to 100%. Obviously, I'd rather be over 100% than under 100%, because for some reason, if you're below 100%, even if you're at 99%, it feels like you're at 0%, because when you miss those crits, it feels so bad. So I want to make sure I have no accuracy, basically, because if I have accuracy, it's or as low as possible, because it's probably going to be taking stats away from something else, like where I could be optimizing better. I want to make sure my crit rate's at 100% or as close to 100% as possible. I want to make sure her speed makes sense for the team that I'm running with. So in my situation, she goes very last. So I want to make sure that she is fast enough to not get cut in on by the enemies. So I want to make sure she's fairly close to the rest of my team, but I want to make sure she's not faster than my debuffer, because you really want decreased defense, and if you have it, weaken, to be up before Skullcrown even goes. I also have her attack up pretty high. I would love to push this to 5,000, and that's definitely gonna be my goal. I would love to get that higher. Right now it's at 4620, and that's the other stat priority you want to focus on. As you can see, her chest plate is attack percent, gloves, crit damage, weapon, obviously the substats, I want to get crit rate. If I can get more attack percent, I would love it. More attack would be so helpful for my Skullcrown. That's my stat priority: crit rate, speed, crit damage, as much as you can possibly get, and attack. She's a very offensive champion. The reason why you don't really worry about her defensive stats too much, and even if you're early game, like even if you're just building her up, she's your first level 60, and I'll talk about that again a little bit later, more in depth. But she has this ability, which places an unkillable buff on this champion for 1 turn every time her HP drops below 20%. It's on a 4-turn cooldown. So you really don't have to gear her too defensively, because she's going to be pretty squishy no matter how you gear her. But she has that unkillable buff, which will save her. Now, if you run her with Sinesha, she's even better. She has an arena speed aura, and which is amazing. I mean, obviously, if she's one of your few champions you have, you're definitely going to want to bring her in the arena. Absolutely amazing early game. Well, and she's amazing late game too. Ability 1, attacks all enemies, places an extra hit if the target has more than 50% HP. There's definitely some synergy she has with her sister here, but we're not going to talk about that in this video. Ability 2, this is what does big chunks of damage, and this is what really just nukes people. I'm going to show you how hard it can hit in the arena. Literally get crits over 100,000 damage. Attacks all enemies, has a 50% chance of placing 25% weaken, which I'm not really worried about that. The enemies literally all die before they could even get weaken placed, unless it's like a Duchess. Sometimes Duchess survives, and maybe a Valkyrie, but typically she's gonna kill everybody. Now, my set, you may notice, well, I'll show you my Masteries real quick as well. So here's my Masteries. If you definitely don't want to go support, like there's no reason to do that. Like I said before, you're not gonna focus on her, landing her debuffs, but this Masteries is like very, very arena intensive. So like this is, hey, I'm taking the first turn in the arena, I'm gonna hopefully kill everybody. That's the reason why I have this. Increases damage inflicted by 8% for the first hit, and I have other abilities that make sense with that as well. Also, I don't have this, which if you don't have a Madame Ceres, you may take this instead of this ability, just so you can knock down the shields a little bit quicker, because nothing's worse than having a huge shield from like a Valkyrie and you're not able to get through it. But these Masteries do very well for me. I love these two at the bottom, especially since she has the unkillable buff that comes up. Like if you're going against a Mashald or something who places a fear, well, Skullcrown has a chance to counterattack that if you run this Mastery. So I definitely recommend doing that. Now, I have Helm Smasher because I do have a relatively high crit damage. If you're struggling with getting over, say, 200% crit damage, I would probably try to go Flawless Execution, most likely. But you would have to go with Masteries like right here, most likely, or even this one. So it makes it a little bit difficult to get over here to the Flawless Execution. Ideally, you can get your crit damage pushed up 200% or above, and then you go in this. You really want Skullcrown to be ignoring as much of their defense as possible, and that's how I built my Skullcrown. She has defense ignore from here. She has decreased defense from Madame, plus my Savage set ignores an additional 25% of the enemy defense, which I am able to get a little bit more crit damage on my Skullcrown. I think I could probably push this to like 240, maybe even 250, but this Savage set is so good, and ignoring 25% of defense is amazing. And I'm going to show you guys real quick how good this actually is. Now granted, my arena team is set up pretty good, set up very well, but I'll show you one match with Madame and then one match without Madame, because Skullcrown hits very hard without Madame placing her debuffs, that is. So Skullcrown hits very, very hard with or without the debuffs, the decreased defense from Madame, that is. Now, if you don't have Madame, obviously bringing like a War Maiden for the very free-to-play option, bringing anybody who has a good decreased defense is amazing, but let's watch this, okay? So, 80k, 69k, 80k. Let's see if we can get a match where we can actually get 100k hits. I mean, it happens, I get it happening very, very frequently. Let's turn this off as slow-mo. I mean, it's so weird. Raids 2x is like pretty fast, and then Raids 1x speed is like literally they're moving in slow motion. It's crazy how slow that is. Let's see. Okay, so we got a 96k there. We didn't get 100,000 hit yet. I'm gonna do a few more until we actually get 100k, just so I can make sure you guys know this wasn't clickbait and that I do hit 100k hits all the time. Obviously, some of these teams can be pretty easy to hit them, but this one, like, I don't want to do it against the level 50. That doesn't really count, does it? I'm gonna show you. Obviously, we need a decreased defense from Madame in order to do this. 108, 104. So there you go. Even against a Seeker team, his increased defense passive didn't even do anything. Didn't even matter. She just absolutely destroyed him. So let me go ahead and show you what this looks like with no decreased defense from Madame. I mean, you'll see that she still just absolutely destroys people. Granted, that is heavily influenced by Helm Smasher, which when it activates, as well as the Savage set. So she's still ignoring some defense. 96k, like, it's almost as if Madame didn't even do anything. She may not have, for real. I mean, because there's so much defense being ignored. Like, how much defense can somebody actually have? But this is where I use Skullcrown mostly. This is where she really, really shines, in my opinion, is for the arena. If you're a brand new player and you've actually pulled Skullcrown, so you have 120,000 there against level 40, albeit, but Silver 1 free to play, you're Gold 4 now, buddy. Congrats. Like I was saying, Skullcrown is a champion who, if you've pulled her early on in the game and you're wondering if you should take her to 60, honestly, I'd take her to 60 as one of your very first champions. Like, she's one of the few champions who I'll actually recommend, if people pull her before you get your starter champion to level 60, to actually take Skullcrown to level 60. The reason for that is because she's a champion who farms a campaign very fast. Now, when it comes to gearing her for the campaign, it's not nearly as hard as it is for some champions because she has the unkillable. So if you're getting hit, she places unkillable, not a big deal. So she's definitely very forgiving when you're going through the campaign because she can take a beating and not die to the wave. Amazing. Now there's a ton of different ways to gear her for different areas. Like she does great in lifesteal. You can run her in retaliation. Skullcrown is a very, very flexible, versatile champion in my opinion. Can literally be used everywhere in the game except for clan boss. She's not a good clan boss champion, but literally anywhere else you can think of, Skullcrown fits. Now you'll see Elagaius running here alongside her. I'll probably be doing a video guide on him later on. I want to build him tonight on the stream, which if you made it to this point in the video guys, I should be live in about 30 minutes. So feel free to jump in over there, twitch.tv/Tyraku. I'm live every single day, except for Tuesdays and Thursdays from 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. Eastern time. Also, if you've made it to this point, thank you all very much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to go back here and show you one more thing. In Dragons, like this is another place I believe I use her. I'll have to check if I use her here or not. Yeah, I do use her for wave clear here. My Dragons runs not super fast necessarily, and maybe I could use Seer instead, but Skullcrown does a lot of damage, and I do have decent gear on my Skullcrown, but you really don't need that level of insane gear that I do have on her for her to do really good. So if you've pulled Skullcrown, you're wondering how to build her, that's how I built mine, specifically, especially for the arena. If you're gonna take her other places, the Masteries may be tweaked a little bit, but honestly, those Masteries are excellent everywhere. Now, if I was doing like a campaign farming, low level, I would take the more defensive Masteries like the Blood Shield and then the Flawless Execution. Anything to make her live a little bit longer, I'd be focusing on that. But if you really just want her to squeeze out as much damage as possible, if you want to see those 100,000 damage crits, then definitely take her Masteries in a similar way that I've built them. Like you see her here, she's doing excellent damage against these waves, and they didn't even have decreased defense on them. So, and she doesn't have any War Master, no Giant Slayer, nothing like that. 47,000. It's a pretty good hit, especially on an AoE with no decreased defense from Stagnite. Now, this Cold Hearts obviously are going to steal the show here. This is going to be a little bit faster than I typically do it, honestly, because they typically mess up the run. But that's all that I really have to show with Skullcrown today. I'll jump back in there one more time and show you her Masteries, her gear. Now, there is one little difference that I forgot to mention. If you can so I have my Skullcrown with speed boots. There's a decent amount of players who build her with attack percent boots because she does have that unkillable buff. So she is basically guaranteed a turn. The only risky thing about doing the attack percent boot strategy is that yes, you probably will do even more damage because she's attack based, but you run the risk, especially against Madames, of somebody either stunning your Skullcrown and not letting her take a turn, somebody putting her to sleep, she won't get to take a turn, somebody removing her buff and she won't get to take a turn. So if you're confident that you'll be able to not be blocked from the unkillable, then definitely go ahead and put attack percent boots on. Like she can go last, it doesn't really matter, but I do love her going in sync with the rest of my team and having her speed tuned like that. So as you can see, my debuffer speed, she's 235. My Skullcrown definitely needs a little bit more speed, but right now she's very, very good. So like I said, guys, again, thank you all very much for watching. I'll run through and show you her stuff one more time, her Masteries. That's what it's looking like. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you want to see any other champion guides or reviews. I appreciate it, and I'll catch you all in the next video.